All right, brother. This is an honor, man. This is an absolute honor. I just want to say thank you for doing this and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's good to be here with you talking.
Man, like some you hear some stories for some people and it absolutely blows you out the water, and yours is one of them, man. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to kind of dissect your story, bro. Like who are you, I guess?
Okay, cool. Thank you. So my name is Carlos Alvarez. I am 29 years old. I'm gonna be 30 in December. That is coming soon. Eh, I am from a little country in South America called Ecuador. But I've been living in Miami, Florida for almost 8 years. I am totally blind. I was born with a congenital glaucoma. I lost my sight completely 10 years ago. All my life, I struggled with vision problems, so my vision was not that good. And when I was in high school, I was super skinny, and because of the glaucoma, my eyes were a little bit inflamed.
Mhm.
So the people used to bully me like nobody's business because my eyes were a little bit bigger than the other people. And because I was skinny and my vision failed, I couldn't do too many stuff. I couldn't do sports. I couldn't do many activities because I wasn't feeling that comfortable doing it. So it was bad because the people used to make pranks of me all the time. But then I always wanted to learn how to defend myself, and I didn't feel comfortable with striking or with a martial arts that involves punching or kicking because I couldn't see very well. So uh, one day when I was in high school, when I was 16, one friend came into the high school and he was already a blue belt in this martial art called Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So basically, he introduced me into the art. He showed me some techniques in the school, and I fell in love immediately of this martial art. So basically, I started to find jiu-jitsu places near to my house. I found a gym near to my house, and from that day, I never stopped. So I've been training jiu-jitsu for almost 13 years, and I have 2 years as a black belt. It has been a super long journey, but thanks to God and thanks to all the support of my family and that also the support of a lot of people, I had achieved many goals. And I am always fighting, I am always training, I am always competing, I am always breaking the limits and showing that nothing is impossible, right?
Mhm.
And every time that I have the opportunity to compete, I compete against sighted people, people that are able to see. And every day that I am training, I fight against people that are able to see. So blindness is not an excuse. I try to show that whenever you want to do something, that it is completely possible to do it. Also, I have this beautiful blessing that I work in a gym teaching jiu-jitsu to people that are able to see, and also I teach jiu-jitsu to blind and visually impaired people. And basically, I try to show that I am an example of inspiration and superation for the people. I try to motivate them, and I try to show them that if you really want something, that you can do it no matter what. So basically, that's a little bit of my story. I work in this gym called Gamma Filio Martial Arts. I've been working in this gym for almost 3 years, and it's a big blessing for me. So basically, that's a little bit of my introduction.
Wow. That's absolutely incredible, brother. Like I said at the beginning, you hear some stories and it blows you out of the water, like it's just like this is inspiration at its finest. And for someone, I don't practice martial arts, right? And for someone looking into this, it'd be like, how are you able to do that? And that is unbelievable. And I think that's so cool, brother. Like you are inspiring a lot of people outside of the martial art realm as well as inside of the martial art realm, right? You can take the point of, okay, you've got a limitation, but that doesn't mean it's going to limit you. You can break through that, and that's okay. And brother, I just want to say, hats off, man. This is incredible.
Thank you very much. I
Wow.
appreciate.
I wanna learn what it's like, like how do you do it?
So everything has been difficult, because nothing in this life is easy. You have to work really hard to do it. And the good thing is that Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is a grappling style of a martial art. It doesn't have to be nothing to do with punches or kicks. It's more like you learn how to control your opponent by touching your opponent and by controlling your opponent in the ground. So basically, you can choke the people. You can do leg locks, arm locks, and basically is more, you have to use more your sensibility more than your eyes. That's why I am super able to do it. It's more like a wrestling, or it's very similar than wrestling and judo, but we are more focused on the ground fighting. And basically, uh, in the beginning, when I was when I became blind, because when I started jiu-jitsu, I was able to see with my left eye, because when I was 15, I lost my sight on my right eye from one day to other. And then when I began jiu-jitsu, I was 16, so I was able to see with one eye, and that helped me a lot with the fundamentals, techniques. But I always try to focus on what I felt more than what I see, because I struggle seeing, right? So I always was feeling the techniques, and from what I felt, I was able to do it. And sometimes when someone has vision, it's kind of hard for them to get focus with the techniques, because they are not paying attention, because maybe someone is doing something around them and they are not paying attention to what the professor is teaching. But whenever someone is blind, you are more focused in what you feel. You are 100% focused in one task of the technique. So I think that for someone that is blind and that does jiu-jitsu, is very easy to do it, because you are feeling it. And then whenever you have the possibility to do it on the other person, is easier, because you know what you feel, and you know how you can do it only by feeling your opponent's body. So basically, that's the way that I learn how to do the stuff, by feeling the techniques. And then, so listening and feeling are two things that are very important. Once I do that, I am able to learn new techniques, or to do the techniques that I already know. So basically, it's like that, because uh, my brain works perfectly. The only thing that doesn't work is my eyes, but then I am able to use my body correctly, my arms, my legs, and I know where the body of my opponent is located, so I am able to know what I want to do whenever I want to submit my opponent by doing an unlock or a leg lock or a choke, or if I want to control my opponent with a nice position of jiu-jitsu. So basically, I think that the two things that helped me were feeling and listening and paying attention to every detail of the technique that the professor is teaching me. And I think that's the way that I did it. I always explain this to the people because sometimes they ask me, how you do this if you're blind? It doesn't make any sense. And I like, I just feel, and I just listen. So, and I am able to do it. It's easy.
I think we all have something to learn from that, man, of getting in kind of synergy with our body and feeling our way through it, like I think we do rely on our sight or our auditory, on our hearing a lot more than we should do. We should get more in tune with this shell that we're stuck within, right? And be able to feel through it a little bit more, and maybe then we can work with it rather than against it.
Yeah.
Wow. So if I flip the coin over then, brother, so if we go into teaching and coaching jiu-jitsu, like how is that like?
It's a very interesting activity because what I always do is this. Sometimes I have like a big group of students, but sometimes I have like a very small group of students. So whenever I had a big group, I always need someone that is able to help me with the other students because obviously I cannot see, so I cannot see what the other students are doing while they are doing the technique. Because what we normally do is that we circle up, we do like a big circle, and I show the technique and I try to explain the technique with all the details as possible so that the people watch and listen, and then everybody does the technique. Everybody gets a partner and start to do the technique. And what I do is that I go whenever it's a small group and I am able to do it, I go like person through person, like I go one by one and I try to show the technique and to feel the technique to check if they are doing the technique well whenever it's a small group. But whenever it's a big group, I teach and I have like one or two people that already have some knowledge in jiu-jitsu and that they are checking for me if they are doing the other guys the technique correctly.
Yeah, so kind of have a double edge approach, right?
Yeah, it's because I truly believe that people are so important. We are here in this planet to help each other. We cannot grow or learn if we don't have people around us to help us.
100%, brother. Was that something that you learned along the journey, or do you think that is something like a mindset you've always had innate within you?
That was something that I learned when I became totally blind. Because what happened is that the bullying was so bad when I was in high school that it was super hard for me to trust in people, even with my family. I couldn't trust in them because I was feeling insecure, I was feeling sad all the time and depressed, and I was pissed off all the time because the people were mean, know, everything changed because it's kind of hard to do some things, but things I really need help. So I had to become extremely humble and recognize that I needed help. So like that helped me to understand that everybody needs help. It's not only me because I am blind, but we all need help. We all
Mhm.
need people in our lives to continue growing in every aspect of our lives. So that's what I learned, and I try to always apply that in my life, and I always try to be thankful, and I always try to help in the best way that I can to whatever people that I have around me.
100%, man. I agree 100% of the way. I think the synergy between people helps the world spin. Like our whole task is to pay it forward so we can help other people achieve whatever they want to achieve. Like no one is ever truly self-made. We have to come out of a human being, right? We have to be nurtured as a child because we're completely dependent. And there's going to be times where we have to lean a little bit more on other people in certain situations and circumstances, and then they're going to have to do the same. Like we're not truly independent. There's always going to be something that we need help with.
Of course, all the time.
Oh, I love it, man. So if you were going to give some advice to either visually impaired or completely blind people out there, what would you say?
I will say that everything is possible, that fight for what you want. I always, for example, I have a special project that I teach Jiu Jitsu to blind and visually impaired people for free. I do it every weekend. My project is called Blind Warriors Jiu Jitsu. And I am always teaching them and I am always trying to motivate them to fight for what they want. Because if a blind person can do Jiu Jitsu, a blind person can do everything, you know?
Mhm.
Not from so my advice, don't up. Don't let many people telling me, but you are blind, you should give up. You cannot fight against other sided people. You are not gonna do well. But I never listen to those words. I always try to be super positive and thanks to that positivity, I was able to do well, And I had won many tournaments against people that are able to see, and I show that it is possible. And in not only in jiu-jitsu, but in every aspect, right, of our lives. So I want to just encourage people to continue fighting and to continue believing that everything is possible and that nobody can stop you from what you want to do. So if you are blind, stop complaining about life, stop complaining about what you don't have, and start to be thankful with what you have and start to work in something that you want to do because you are capable to do whatever you want to do. Into this country, I didn't speak any started to learn. So to do everybody can do it. Will give me message of motivation to continue fighting and to continue have that they could.
That's amazing, brother. I think that's just a powerful message. You know what I mean? I think people. Oh, you there, brother? A little bit of technical difficulties. All right, brother, we're back. Sorry, technical difficulties. But that's what happens when we're trying to have a conversation across a lot of seas and oceans and land, right? But hey, we're here. Dude,
Yeah,
I just think that's so powerful, man. I think that really is like take it out of this context and place it into anyone you wish to place it in. Like don't put yourself in that box. That box that we love to place ourselves in and put that roof above our heads. And we need to understand a roof is a man-made thing, right? And like you're winning competitions, and I think that's unbelievable. Throw me in there, and I'm not going to win competitions, dude. I'm going to get tapped out within 3 seconds. You know, And I think that's incredible, dude. I really do. And I think more people need to hear your story. I think more people need to watch you do your thing. And you prove it. Sport is a really unique thing because we can prove in real time that limitations don't mean anything. The barriers do not mean anything, and human beings are pretty much capable of anything that they set their mind to. And I think that's incredible, man. And I just want to say thank you for sharing that story.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this story with you and with all the people that are going to be listening this podcast. For me, it's a pleasure and also a mission to motivate and to inspire others with my example. As I said earlier, if I can do all these things, like everybody is able to do it too, and nothing is impossible. All the limits that we have is because we put our limits in our minds. We are the ones that are in charge of that. So I always tell to the people that we limit ourselves, but then we don't have limits. We can do whatever we want and whatever we work for it.
Yes, sir. I could not agree more. And you're living proof, man. And it's an absolute honor and a privilege to share a conversation, mate. And I really, really do hope that one day I get over to Florida and I watch you do your thing and choke somebody out.
Yeah, that will be awesome. You're more than welcome to come to Florida. And also, it will be cool if you try a jiu-jitsu class. It could change your life.
Of course, I'll jump in, man. You're
Yeah.
coaching, I'll jump in, no problem.
Super cool.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What is the greatest piece of life advice you have ever received?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
What is the greatest piece of life advice you have ever received?
The greatest one. So I think the reason of why I am so positive and why I am super hardworking is because I had a very strong faith in God. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a super Christian family. My mother is a pastor, and she's my superhero. I think she was the one that helped me to come over all these obstacles, and she's always and she was always giving me all the best advices of the planet of how to be a better human being, how to work for the things that I wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was always telling me that the hardest battles are for the toughest warriors, you know?
Yes, sir.
And that sometimes we cannot understand why, as human beings in this life, we have struggled so much with many things because life is tough. Life is not easy. Sometimes we had suffer because of bullying. Sometimes we had suffer because of sicknesses, or sometimes we had suffer because we didn't have good parents, or something happened. Always something happened because nothing is perfect. But you had to decide what you want to do with that. If you want to see the glass half empty, or if you want to see the glass half full. That's your decision. And my mother was always telling me that advice, like what you want to do. You have two decisions. One decision to be complaining about life and staying in the house, doing nothing, eating trash, or the second option, to try to see what happens. Go to fight, go to do your best, try to do whatever you want or whatever you can to achieve your goals and your dreams, and try to do it. If it works, it's going to be great. If it doesn't work, you have to continue trying until it's going to happen. So I think that was the best advice that my mother gave me. And I always understood that, and thanks to that advice and thanks to my mother, I am able to accomplish many, many good things.
Yes, sir. That's amazing. You've got to try. You got to go outside and you just got to do something. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't even have to win. You got to attempt. You've got to do something, and eventually it will pay off. It will get you somewhere. That somewhere might not be the place that you once imagined, right? But you're going to end up getting places, and you have to try. One thing is guaranteed: if you don't do anything, you're not going to get anywhere. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. You know, you gotta
Mhm.
try. You gotta try these things.
Yeah, for sure. Trying is the best thing that we can do, because if we don't try, we are not going to get nothing. But if we try, we have many good possibilities to achieve that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brother, thank you so much for your time. Gracias, amigo.
Thank you very much, brother, for this opportunity. I am super thankful. And people, let's continue working hard. Let's continue having faith, and let's continue fighting for what we want.
Sounds great to me, brother. And when I get to Florida, and I guarantee you I will, I promise you I will make sure I let you know, and I'm gonna jump in that BJJ class, and you're gonna teach me.
That will be super awesome. You are more than welcome to come. The doors of the gym that I work are open for you, and we will receive you in the best way. We are going to try some nice Latin food, and we are going to have some good conversations and trainings. Looking forward for it.
Sounds perfect to me, brother. All right. Talk to you soon, and I'll see you soon as well.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Speak
Take
soon.
care.
Bye,
God
everybody.
bless.